Welcome back to Outdoor Guys. Today we're going to do a video on hunting bucks over bait piles, hunting does as well, just hunting deer in general over bait. And also I'm going to load this video with tips that I've learned along the way because I have been using this technique to shoot bucks and does, over the last couple years. So I just want to, share my experiences with you guys to help you out. Give you some tips and pointers on how effective this can be. I'm gonna hop right into it and kick it off with, I know it's a sensitive subject. A lot of different hunters have different opinions on it. I'm gonna try to keep this video super short and just, give as much information as I can to help you guys out. But I think I need to touch on it because I've experienced it myself. People say, well, if you hunt corn piles, you're not a good hunter. There's so much that goes into that, guys, and we, as hunters, we got to get away from that stuff. It's up to the hunter. Whatever makes them happy should be acceptable as long as it's legal. As far as who's better than the next, everybody's situation is different. Like my property, I don't really have the food source. We do have acorns and we got some browse and stuff, but I don't hunt a farm. It's worked for me. I will get into the specifics in a second. But I just wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit, and try to get people that don't agree with it to just maybe, think outside the box a little bit and try to understand where people are coming from. Some people just hunt for meat, and that's okay. Like some people aren't worried about the trophy. Even if you are, this still can be effective. I could talk about this for a long time because if you're hunting a food source, what's the difference, really? I mean, if you're putting it down, if they're going to a cornfield eating corn, so let me know down in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts on baiting deer is and, your thoughts on hunting over bait piles and how that makes you feel. I really want to know what you guys think about that. I will say one more thing till we get into some tips for baiting bucks. It does take work. It's not cheap. I don't just put corn down. I put blends down by Big Time, and it has a cherry rush scent and flavor. And they have different products. I use the Fortified Deer Blend. It's a red and black bag, and I use the Protein Plus, which is a yellow and black bag. The Fortified Deer Blend has milo in it, sunflower seeds, corn's already mixed in these guys. And then the Protein Plus has roasted soybeans, and these are things that really give bucks the nutrition they need, especially during summer months when they're growing their racks and stuff like that. So I would definitely, one big tip would be I would definitely put regular corn down too, and I would separate the piles, or sometimes I'll just make one big kind of U shape. You just want to give the deer enough room to eat. Every buck's personality is different, so some of them are more social than others, and you don't want to make them feel like they don't have enough room to eat. So I've learned that over the years, make different piles and stuff in the same area, but that way they can, if they find an opening, they feel more comfortable there. The next tip would be, this has been most effective for me in the early season. Now, all this is going to depend on available food sources and, the deer herd in your area. But placement is a big thing too. So you want to make sure, the area works. I try to put the corn on the ground without a feeder. I've had my most success, but, that's going to depend on your area too. But that's what's worked for me, and there's thicker cover around where I put my corn, and I have put it in other spots and they won't hit it. So I've learned this, you're just gonna have to try it and see what works. If it doesn't work, it could be as simple as moving it 100 yards to a different spot, and they just have more cover where they can stage before they come into the corn, kind of scent check the area and stuff like that. The bucks like to do, so they can still do that, and the food's there. Another tip, these bucks, if you're feeding consistently, will rely on it as one of their primary food sources. So they will start bedding near it. So just keep all that in mind. Now, as far as scent and noise goes, I'm in and out of there. I start feeding through late spring all the way through summer up to opening day. So they get used to my scent around the corn pile. I do take a four-wheeler in, so I'm super noisy. I feel like bucks get used to that. I feel like when they're not used to it, and you stun them with it, it's more of a bigger deal to them. Now, that's my area. I'm not saying that's everywhere, but I'm just saying my experience and what's happened with me baiting them. So how you want to approach hunting it is completely up to you. Obviously, you want to watch the wind and, you know, strategically place your stand based on that. And mine, I have a ridge, so it's flatter on the bottom. It's a creek bottom, so I have the corn down there, and I'm kind of halfway up the ridge, give or take, and that makes it harder for the bucks to come downwind of me and get behind me. So, you know, that spot works for me. And, you know, I've killed a couple bucks out of that same stand, you know, early season with these bucks coming in to bait. 2 of them are on the wall behind me. I'll roll in some B-roll. I actually have the hunt of the 10-point that I shot 2 years ago going to the, you know, Big Time Protein Plus. So I also have a video about the best deer attractant and how to attract deer fast. And that 10-point that was still on velvet went right to the Big Time Protein Plus, and there was a couple different feeds out. So that was, definitely check that video out too, guys. And you can, I will link down in the video description below me harvesting that 10-point. It was my first self-filmed deer hunt. Awesome video. Definitely want you guys to see that. Anyway, back to the stand. So I just have a ladder stand. I'm not real high off the ground, but I use the terrain, so, you know, the deer are kind of not looking way up in the air, you know what I mean? So I have that advantage. You don't always know what direction they're going to come from, so, you know, I wouldn't overthink it. But I had one come from my left and got him before he even got to the food. 20-yard shot. That was a 9-point on the wall, and then the 10-point still on velvet. He came, you know, from further away. It was about a 25-yard shot. I had to wait for a good shot for him. But just pay attention when you're setting your stand. Like, you don't want to be right up on it, but mine was about 25 yards. I could get away with being that close, like I said, because of the terrain and how I have my stand placement. So you can also choose to hunt the trails going to and from the food. Scout it out, put your cameras out, see where they're moving. You know, there's a lot of different tactics. Getting a shot at a buck, you know, going to and from food. So, you know, stay open-minded about that. I just wanted to share how my setup is. So what I'll do is, like, when I'm going in to dump corn, you kind of want to go like midday or before. You don't want to be going in there early morning or late afternoon, evening in the summertime. You just don't want to spook them unnecessarily. So I'm not careless, but I don't overthink it. I just go in there, put it down, and get out of there. So, like, you can definitely take advantage of baiting deer early season, especially the bucks. You know, they haven't had hunting pressure on them. You know, they feel more comfortable coming to the food. Find a spot, like I said, that, you know, maybe there's heavier cover right near it, so they feel more comfortable. Try not to put it out like in the wide open where they don't feel safe. I feel like that affects their decision making on whether they're gonna, you know, feel comfortable to eat there consistently. All right, a huge tip, and I am, you know, probably the most guilty on this situation that you could be. I've had several different bucks at a time, like nice bucks, you know, mature, some of them too, that like, oh, he's nice, you know what I mean? You know, I'm gonna take this buck when he comes in, and then I'm out there and another buck comes in and I get excited and I just take the shot. So I'm working on that, but what I would tell you is definitely wait. Don't shoot the first buck unless that's not important to you, and that's fine. Whatever makes you happy is fine, but I'm trying to get a older class buck or a better class buck. So, you know, a lot of the times the older bucks will wait the situation out to see what's going to happen. So if you shoot that first buck that comes in, he's gone and he's not coming back. So, you know, if you target a specific buck, be patient. Don't shoot the first one that comes in. And I feel like your opportunity of getting that buck is a lot higher if you can be patient. So, like, also I did find, like, depending on, you know, I only hunt a 20-acre piece and there's farms that surround me. And I found out, like, last year was the first year over probably like a 5-year period where I didn't have any bucks hit my bait pile. So I just quit putting it down. Sometimes that happens, but what I figured out was, and what I learned was, depending on what the farmer's crop rotation was, if they have, you know, abundance of corn or beans, you know what I mean, they don't really need to come hit your corn pile. But I think what separates that is having a spot. They don't have to go out into the middle of a field and eat, and also having that food, corn pile, available before corn is, or beans. So, you know, and the Big Time Protein Plus, I would definitely recommend you guys giving a try. You know, it has that scent and flavor, plus it has all them vitamins and nutrients. You're not just giving them straight corn. You know, they're getting health benefits, you know, from getting the things that they need, especially, you know, to help them develop into bigger bucks. So one last tip I'll give you guys, like, you know, I know it's a commitment, but the earlier you start putting the corn down, and if you can consistently do it through the summer, you know, a lot of other hunters aren't doing that. They'll wait till last minute to throw a, you know, a bag of corn down and expect something to happen. And, you know, it usually doesn't work that way. It's definitely takes a lot of work and commitment. It's not cheap, but it can be an effective way to shoot bucks. I'm not saying it's going to work all the time, but it is a way to get it done. It just depends, you know, what your goals are, how much you want to push yourself. As far as I look at it, you know, I need every advantage I can get out there. So especially in my specific area, I will hunt, you know, the rut, and I will hunt trails, you know, buck trails and like travel corridors during the rut. This is not what I only do, but early season I feel like it's my best chance to harvest a buck, because, you know, we do have acorns and stuff, but, you know, depending on when they start hitting them, you know, there's a little bit of a time gap. So, you know, I feel like that's the best for me in that particular property and situation. So you got to figure out what's best for you. I just don't want people to feel like they can't do it because, you know, you're going to be judged for doing it or anything like that. A lot of hunters are using it just to, you know, collect inventory on what's around you. You know what I mean? So if somebody decides they want to, you know, take a shot at a buck doing the same thing, I don't really see the real difference. I have to practice as hard as the next guy to make a good ethical bow hunting shot on a buck. You know what I mean? So like, I'm still putting in the work. I'm still taking it serious. The buck still has to show up. You still have to make a good shot. People act like all these things are guaranteed. It is definitely not in bow hunting. That is so far from the truth. So I'm going to leave you on that. If you guys haven't subbed, make sure you smash that subscribe button down. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on baiting deer. Ring that notification bell too, so you get all my new content as soon as it drops. Until the next one, you have officially been outdoors.